Hello, and welcome back to Common Sense for Relationships. Yes! On this show, we bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your lives and in your relationships in particular. So, thank you so much for letting us into your space. Thank you for joining us on the show today. And I would like to start by welcoming our very special Debbie. Hi, Debbie. I see you're here, and we're so excited to have you here already. And to everyone else who has joined us and who is going to join us and who will watch this show later on, thank you so much for taking the time to empower yourselves. You know, knowledge is power. It's interesting how sometimes we face situations in our lives and we really struggle just because we did not have the right information. So on this show, we always make it a point of duty to bring wisdom, to bring knowledge, to bring information that will help different people through different seasons in their lives. My name is Anietie Bature, and I am the host of this show, Common Sense for Relationships. We've been here for a while, and if you know, you know that here is the place where you will really hear common sense. You hear it from me, you hear it from my co-host, you hear it from our special guests that we bring on from time to time, and you also hear it from our audience. So the beautiful thing is that it's not just us speaking here, because this is a live show. We have the opportunity to have you contribute. And we have so many people who come here and drop solid word, something that someone else can take and apply to their lives, and it will make a significant difference. Positive difference, of course. Positive vibes, oh yeah. So, this week's show isn't going to be different in the sense that we are still going to bring you empowering information to help you make your life better. Yes. So, welcome everyone. And I would like to say, while you're here, if you hear anything that is of value to you, just go ahead and give us a like. And peradventure, if you've not a like already and you hear something else and you're like, I still want to show, then you can just drop an emoji, drop a heart, drop a check, drop a thumbs up, something to let us know that, yes, you are getting value. And if you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? You know, it will be so good if you do, because every time we are live, every time we put up something, you'll be one of the first to know. Yes. And then we always say, share, share, share. Share to your friends, share to your loved ones, share to your family, share to, my husband usually says, your enemies. Because he says, you never know. The enemy might become your business partner. The enemy might become your very good friend. The enemy might even become your spouse, assuming you're still single. So you never know. Or the spouse of a friend of yours. You might just be the connect. Who knows? Yeah, so please like, share, and subscribe. And welcome Jim Muskie! Jim Muskie in the house! Jim Muskie! Jim Muskie, we're so happy to see you. Yes, you are welcome. It's been a while, yes, Jim Muskie. So you're welcome. And we also have another person, and we'll get right to you shortly. Yes, so welcome everybody. It's really good to have you here. And I'll go right now to introduce my husband and co-host. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to Common Sense for Relationship.
Why you say it like that?
The relationship. That's how it's doing me today. I can see
Did you eat kola
Jimoski.
nut or something?
No. I can see Jimoski online. Jimoski, it's been a while. Good to have you. Please, can everybody confirm our sound? I hope our sound is good. And Yeah, Omorenze, yes.
Monze, hi.
Hi. Queen Debbie Boss, she says, lovely background. Yes, we are in
Thank
Studio
you.
3. You know, we like to move around the studios. You guys are more familiar with Studio 1. Yeah, so, but we're in Studio 3, and it's fun over here. It's like our nature studios, right?
Our green studio.
Yeah, our green.
Our pro-life studio.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
In fact, our national studio.
Yeah, that's where the independence type of
Green,
ones
white,
will
green.
go. Right. So yes, they can confirm the sound. Yes, and everything is good. Today, I'm glad to be here. Yes. Queen Debbie says levels. Yes, yes, it's levels. Yes, just turn it up. Turn it up. And why I'm advertising the studio too is if in case you are online and you feel like you have a podcast you really need the world to hear, our sponsors, Broken Wall Media Studios, are here to give you what you need. I'm advertising you guys now. So you guys, I'm advertising you. I'm advertising you now. So please come, rush down to Broken Wall Studios, and they will meet all your needs: podcasts, live set, jingles, voiceover, production. They are strong, well, and because I am part of them. Say my hands strong. That's the selling point right there.
My goodness.
Unique selling point. Strong hands. All right.
Okay.
Back to the show.
Yes.
Yeah. To today's topic, growing pains.
Yes.
This thing reminds me of something somebody said. Somebody said, "Say, bro, if you never come out your uncle house, and your uncle never pursue you from the house, bro, stay there." Because outside they red. It's outside they red. So if they no pursue you, just stay there, because all this I need to leave my father's house because I am grown up, bro.
You now leave and then you now find out that.
And the bills keep coming.
Especially if your parents were really shielding you, and really just making sure, especially some people have really effective, really efficient sport, as in the parents are like, as in everything is done and is done well and is done fast. In fact, maybe they have systems set up so that maybe the house rent and the power, all of those things are auto. So when it's time, it will just happen. They don't even need to go.
So some people don't even know that their uncles and their parents are paying light bills. They'll just enter to just chill and just. It's when you now leave the house.
It's just like some people, when DSTV is finishing, you will know, because maybe one day you click, it's not working, then they'll now say, okay, we're going to go and pay. But for some other people, they don't even realize, because the renewal
is until you leave the house.
You know what? I don't have time to keep
It's until you leave the house.
That you
now realize that, okay, DSTV, then they pay for them. NEPA, then they pay for them. Water, then they pay for them. Even to what's it called? Even to buy food, to cook food, then they pay for house, then they pay for them, because sometimes when you do for food, then when you do house, they'll just transportation. When you do house, they'll just say, "Oh, food is ready." You just come. You think say the food just they come out from anywhere until you go and live alone.
Yes.
And it will shock you that the things in the house they also pay for them. Plumber, electrician. Gardener, maid, security. By the time you finish paying for all these things, you realize that, I will stay my uncle's house.
Yeah,
but that's part of the growing pains you're talking about.
Yes, and
the challenges of living alone in times like this.
Yes,
yeah.
And the thing is, a number of times you find people who are so eager to get out, of what they call a prison, or what they call a restriction or something, especially because, as you're growing older, you want to establish yourself as, an independent entity.
Yes.
You want to be able to call the shots as to what you do in your life.
Yes.
You want to be able to go out and come in at the time that you choose to. You don't want someone telling you, be back in this house by 10 o'clock latest, or stay outside. Do you understand? You don't want somebody telling you, you can't bring more than 1 or 2 friends at a time. I don't want a crowd in my house. So many rules that the people we live with tell us or give us while we're still living with them. And some people are just like, you know what, I'm done with this. I need to get out of here. I've got a salary now. I'm running a business. I'm earning some money. I should be able to pay rent. And you know, when you think of rent, you just calculate rent and see that it is maybe 10% or 20% of your salary or something. And then you're like, yeah, I should be fine. I should be fine with the remaining 80%. Not knowing that some other things are going to come along. So there's
That will take 150%.
there's the eagerness to step out. There's the eagerness to own your own space and stuff. And for people who are like really young, children, you know, teenagers, they start to talk about when I grow up, I'm going to do this. When I grow up, I'm going to do that. When I move to my own place, I'm going to, you know, they have these lofty ideas of
when
what
I
they'll
grow
do
up.
when they leave home. And then one day they leave home.
And life happens.
And then they now realize, okay, my parents were really doing a lot.
My parents were trying.
My parents were really doing a lot. So that's the whole adulting thing, right? Because I'm sure somebody might be like, what's this adulting thing? I've heard about it before. What is it really? Is it a word? It's actually a slang, right? It's a slang that talks about, or that means or refers to the actions and responsibilities that you typically have to face, or that is associated with being an adult, right? So you have to face these actions, or you have to take these actions, you have to take these responsibilities. You know, it's all part of being an adult. So that's what adulting is, right? It's a slang. And the thing is, it includes everything from paying school fees, to paying rent, to buying food, to paying for your light bill, you know, paying for service charge, to have your trash and all sorts taken care of. Depends on where you live, a number of things. Buying petrol, if you're on your own in a country like Nigeria, you may be talking about buying fuel or buying, you know, any one of them, whether it's petrol or diesel or whatever, for your generator and stuff. It's just, you know, some of the things that are like, you're like, why on earth do I have to deal with all these things?
Yeah.
It's like a lot, especially if you're in a place where you have to do those things by yourself.
You know, that's what brings me to the point where I asked the question. Sometimes some of these things, are they actually growing pains, or are they just suffering? That, you know, people they just want to suffer us. You know, are they growing pains, or are they suffering? Because the challenges of living alone as a single person in today's world is very challenging.
Yeah,
Do you understand?
I can remember the first time I was trying to understand NEPA bill. You know, because in my mind, if I use a certain number of units and this is the cost per unit, this is what I should get as NEPA bill. And then I now happened to discover that, wait, this charge they're giving us, and you know, I didn't realize it until one time we were away from home for a while, and then next thing, we came back and they gave us this bill, and the bill just did not make any sense. So it's just like, what's going on here? So I actually calculated the number of units. See me going to engage NEPA to argue with them like, this is what we used and this is what you charged. Oh my goodness, that did not make any sense. You know, but it's all part of it. You start to realize that, hey, there's a way and there isn't a way. And I think another part that could be frustrating is when you start to identify the inefficiencies and, you know, in your system, in the systems that are in your country or wherever you live, where you start to experience the frustration from things that should be simple that are not simple. Yeah. So I think we can take a few comments.
Yeah. So people on the chat are just they're just talking about the studio. Jimoski says, I will need to visit that studio. Jimoski, please visit with your friends.
Come.
Yes, visit with your friends, please.
Together.
Yes, let's make noise together. Olubumi Balogun Adebajo says, wow,
Hi.
so good to see both of
Hi,
you.
Bumi.
Well done, well done. We
Thank
too, we
you.
say well done. Thank you for joining the show today. Obinna, Mbago,
Obinna.
man of God.
Brother man.
Brother man. He says, good to see you, Anietie Bature. Patience Upmong, she loves it. All right. So let's dive into the discussion for today.
Yeah.
What you know, when you talk about growing, when you talk about growing pains, when you talk about the challenges that you have to deal with, a number of things comes to mind. What do you want to tell us? I know, say you two, you two like definition, but just let me go with your flow. What do we need to? What are the issues? What are the things that we need to pay attention to?
So, when it comes to this matter, are you sure you're not the one that is going to delve deep and give us your initial thoughts?
Like, yes, now we give you my thoughts now, but you are the one that usually has
Okay.
templates.
Okay. All right. I've
Uh-huh.
already started with my first definition, which is what adulting is.
So
Very important.
So
So
the
now,
next- what's the next
when you think about adulting, then you think about what we are dealing with in our society. You know, do you think that growing up in today, like this day and age, right? Do you think growing up in Nigeria of today, do you think growing up in the world today is any more complex or difficult than it was in time past? What's your view on this? Is it something that, or is it that the people right now who are in this phase of growing and becoming adults are just making too much noise? Or could it be that really there's something about this day and age that is making it such an issue that we are beginning to hear it has become a slang, right? Because before, growing up was growing up. So why is it now something that we've given a name?
If you ask me, I think that every generation would always think of themselves as the ones that have it tough. So we would think that, oh, our parents had it easy. Our children would think that we had it easy.
Yeah.
Their children would think that they didn't even know what is happening. They don't know what tough is.
Yeah.
And fortunately or unfortunately for this generation,
Yeah.
they have the means or the platforms that makes it easy to just make noise. So whatever you say, a lot of people will hear it, and it's as if loudness is seen as correctness. So the more your suffering is louder, that's where they are saying, okay, everybody must be suffering. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So and that's the thing with this generation. Everybody can just pick up their phone and cry to the world and say, I have it bad. Meanwhile, in our days, you have it worse, but nobody is hearing your voice.
Or you didn't have the means to. Maybe social media has something to do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because back then, no matter how disgruntled you are, last you tell your neighbor or your friend in school or something. You're not going to sit down in your room, set up your phone, and tell the world about it. Do you understand? But today, there is that platform for people to be able to voice their feelings and their concerns. So maybe what's happening here is that there are actually platforms that enable people across the world to just say what's on their mind. And when it is something that is pinching other people, then you're going to get the likes and the comments and so on, and it becomes a thing.
It becomes a thing, but is it the thing? Do you understand? It becomes a thing, but is it the thing? Because the truth is, did they suffer more than us? Do you understand? Their own suffering, because any small suffering that a young person is suffering, the next thing you hear is emotional damage. You understand?
Why are you always bringing this emotional?
No,
damage?
because
it's almost as if they just give you one small chance now. This emotional,
because you hear it everywhere. You say Gen Z something, and you just breathe. If they don't breathe too hard, emotional damage. Do you understand? Now, but
I can imagine that somebody has used this emotional damage to break up with somebody.
you're affecting my mental health. That would be the one that
goodness.
they use. You say you're affecting my mental health. You're affecting my mental health. But you see, okay, listen to what Queen Debbie has to say. She says, I am looking forward to moving out of my parents' house. I know bills and bills know me. I know God will provide for me to not worry about anything.
Amen. No.
Okay. I say amen to you. I say amen for you, sorry. I say amen on your behalf. Debbie is part of that generation, right? And there's that thing about moving out of the parents' house. So the question that I will pose to them, nothing wrong with moving out of your parents' house. But the question I will pose is it just a liberty move or is it a growth move? Is it a move to say, oh yes, so that they will know that I am now grown up? Or is it a move because I am grown up? Because I have grown? And one of the things that I would want us to talk about, like when we look at this thing seriously, there are really about 5 growth areas that you need to pay attention to when you begin to talk about I want to move or I want to do, even when you talk about relationships, I want to marry, or there are 5 growth areas, and these are things that you need to learn personally. You need to do for yourself even before you get someone else you say you want to do it with. Do you understand?
Yes,
and those 5 growth areas.
So you're talking about you need to be able to do it for yourself while you're still single.
Yes.
Before you now start talking about I'm doing this with somebody else when you are married.
Married, yes.
Okay.
So there's mental growth, right? Mental growth. And we can discuss the things to do about this.
Okay.
Mental growth. There is spiritual growth, right? And spiritual growth, well, every life is essentially spiritual, but we'll talk about that. Life is essentially spiritual. And spiritual growth requires that you move in orders of ascension, right? In deeper levels of devotion, right? And
don't break this one down too much first. Let's finish listing.
No, because sometimes when you say spiritual growth, people think it's because I go to church.
But you talked about mental. Did they think you went to mental facilities?
Like that song.
What?
I'm on a mental case. Start to the grave.
Hey. Was that a dance to it?
Hey, that was dance now. Mental.
It must have been on national TV,
yes,
like NTA or something.
Yes, now it was everywhere. It was
maybe
everywhere.
At that time, rape. What was that thing called? The other, not rape was radio
AIT.
station. The TV station, what was it? I can't remember.
It was AIT now.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but the truth is there's the mental, there's spiritual, there's also emotional growth.
Okay.
Right? There's emotional growth. And that one, this generation is familiar with it. But okay. They are familiar with it, but they just weaponize it to do whatever they want to do rather than what they are supposed to do. Because emotional growth requires a level of maturity.
Okay.
And that maturity doesn't come by using it as an excuse not to get mature.
Okay. So
you understand?
It involves maturity.
But
that maturity does not come by you using your emotions as an excuse
not to get mature. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So because part of growing up is that you have to face issues. You can't be facing an issue and now throwing a tantrum and saying it's emotional damage rather than dealing with the issue. You deal with the issue, you grow. You deal with the issue, you grow. You deal with the issue, you grow. It's like going to the gym and you are going to the gym for 30 days and wishing that you build abs. You go every day and you just wish, man, the way these guys are doing in the gym, I mean, it's affecting my mental health. But you are going every day and you are not lifting any weights. You are not going through some pain.
Yeah.
And then after 30 days, he said, I don't think all these gym things used to work. That's what they do with emotions these days. And it's both sex, it's both male and female. Then we can. Number 4, there's social growth. Do you understand?
Yes.
There's social growth. So I've mentioned mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and financial. That's financial growth. And each of these things require a level of maturity. Each of these things require you to actually do something about it. Right? If I were to take financial growth, for example, and I like to talk about this because I think I've earned the right to do that. Yeah, I've earned the right to talk about it. Right? Because I have been broke. And we have been familiar with brokenness. Right? We're very close neighbors. Right? And moving away from that, I have made some money. I have lost some money. Do you understand? I have gone through different seasons.
Yes, you really tried.
Do you understand? Different seasons of life. But the thing is, in going through those seasons,
Yeah.
if you have two options, you either have an opportunity to grow or an opportunity to just complain. So you can either develop or you can decline by the same experience. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
get you.
So when it comes to when you have been broke, in the times of being broke, right? One of the greatest assets any broke person has is time. Every broke person has time. Check it. It's difficult to find somebody that you see he's broke, but he's working 21 hours in 24 hours, but he's broke. It will mean that his outflow is more than his inflow, in which case he needs financial management.
Or he's doing work that is not bringing an inflow.
If he's doing work that is bringing an inflow, there's any work that he's doing that is not bringing an inflow, it means that it's not work.
No. What if he's creating something? He's in the creative phase. It hasn't materialized yet. It hasn't become the finished product for him to be able to exchange for an income.
Babi, if he's in the creative space 21 out of 24 hours, Babi, he will create a way to make the creativity bring financial improvement. Do you understand? What I'm trying to say is that the creative guy is not lazy. So even if the thing hasn't brought money, it is that it hasn't brought money yet.
Yet.
Do you understand?
But in that season where it hasn't brought money yet, somebody will still call him broke now. He can still be broke.
Yes, he can still be broke, but he will not be working and be broke. Is that he will be working. He'll be working, but it has not brought something. But he's working. And it's just a matter of time. It will bring something because he's working.
Yes, that's a matter of time, yes.
Do you understand? So the idea is any person that is broke has time. You may not have other things. You may not have other things, but you have time. You may not have finances, but you have time. So the thing is, to improve your financial maturity, your financial growth, you must know what is called the principle of conversion and the principle of exchange. You must know what to give in order to get. So if all you have is time, you must know how to take that time and give it to somebody in exchange for some inflow. So if you have time, carry yourself and go and volunteer somewhere. I'm broke, but I'm working. The moment you start working, inflow will eventually come. But if you are broke and you are just sitting down, man, this life is hard, and I mean, it's affecting my mental health. It's just because I don't have money. See, listen, you are going to be financially poor and mentally broke. But it means that you have to do something. You have to find a way to exchange time. If time is all you have, it's all you need. Exchange that time. Read books. Study. These days, most people don't like to read books, but they are always on the internet.
Because it's almost like it takes me, let's say, 2 hours to read a book. Just assume, and then if you turn that book into an audio book, or you turn it into a video with somebody just reading, I might get through it in 1 hour, 1.5 hours, right? So it's almost like, hey, I can get through this faster. So by default, some people will just go for the faster one, or the one that frees their hands up to do other stuff.
Baby, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, but hear me.
I'm hearing you.
Hear me in the sense that there are many of them that even the audio book, they will not listen. They will be on Facebook pressing this thing, scrolling. The same TikTok university that you go to and you come back and tell me all those things that I'm not willing to hear sometimes, but I listen because I'm a good man. Yes. God is helping me. Yes. But so it's TikTok university you go to. On TikTok, you're at least looking at all these things that are improving you, developmental, and you bring some ideas. And the same TikTok, people are going, and it is hook up and this thing. Sorry. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. Because my wife is there, I can't say some things because the things that you go to see on TikTok, single men. Come on, what you're looking at on TikTok, you are broke, but you are looking at some things on TikTok. Those things you are looking at, they won't give you money. They will take the small naira bet that you do, or the small tap that you do. They will collect it from you. Look for what you use your tap and improve, so that it becomes your tap becomes a seed that you can use to grow the next thing. Principle of exchange. Always find out, what do I have that I can exchange for what I want. That's part of the growth, so that your pain is not just perpetually extended pain. It is that your pain is for a season, and in that season you are exchanging that pain for progress.
Brother.
God. I think I'm preaching good. I think I'm speaking good. I'm making some points here. I'm sure those guys should find it. I'm making some points.
Exchange your pain for progress.
Yes. Do you understand? So
let your pain be the seed that you are sowing
for your
that
harvest.
Will bear you
a harvest of progress. Oh goodness! There's a flow. There's a flow tonight.
Yes,
are you sure it's not this your orange dress? That's
but you know the interesting thing, right?
That's just me saying that her dress is fine.
Yes,
on national TV.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, the thing is that really, someone will say, "Oh, it's cliche or it sounds good, paying for progress and stuff." But really, when you look at it, a number of the things that you need to do to move yourself forward, most of the time you find that they are painful. There's some degree of pain built into having to read so much so that you can pass a certain exam and be certified. There's pain built into having to sacrifice that movie, watching that movie or watching the series or watching whatever it is that used to take up your time. Sacrifice it so that you can invest that time in something, in creating something, or in working somewhere so that you can earn money. There's pain in going to sit and learn from somebody else. Sometimes humility is painful.
It's painful.
To admit, I do not know it, so I am coming to you to learn.
Sometimes it is that I even know it more than you, but you have something I don't have, so I will humble myself and come and learn from you.
Yes. So you see that
painful.
There's pain in different parts of the process. Even when you get a job, there's pain in working, the first 6 months or first 1 year till you are confirmed and stuff like that, and working to get the promotions and stuff like that. There's pain in the process.
Somebody's making me laugh. John says there's pain in being broke too. I hear you, my brother.
So choose your pain.
Choose your pain.
Yeah.
There's pain in being broke.
Thank you very much.
There's pain in being broke too. But we have talked about the financial part,
Yes.
and we have talked about what you can do with your broke season.
Yes.
Because time is something that you have that you can use to trade with.
Yeah. I see an interesting comment from Jimoski, right? And then one from
okay. From Jimoski says, we can build a fountain that will prevent our children from growing in too much pain.
That's what a number of parents are working on or have been working on. In fact, some people say that a lot of parents today are like, I will not let my children go through what I went through.
That one did.
So really, it's a good commitment, right? And in doing so, some parents have created a platform so that their children can start from a higher place, more like you've given them an edge, you've given them leverage. But at the same time, some parents have given so much that the children feel like, what's the point? Why do I need to even bother? Daddy has everything. There's an empire waiting for me to inherit.
In other words, they have built the platform and have now tried to shield their children from the
some
pain
of the things, yes.
of growing.
Yes, but sometimes the pain is important.
Yeah,
because
they shield them from the pain of growing, and any small pain that the children encounter, they want to escape.
Yeah, but the thing is that pain is actually important. In whatever form it comes, you will realize that even though we don't like pain, you grow with each experience that you have of pain. You learn something. You become more resilient.
Exactly.
You become stronger. You're able to weather storms. You learn how to think on your feet, because pain will tell you something is wrong, you need to get out of here.
Yes.
And you will apply your brain, hopefully, to think of a way out of that situation. Or whatever it is, you will apply all the resources you have, which includes asking for advice, includes praying, a lot. You would just apply yourself to get out of that situation that is causing you pain. So pain is something that, though not pleasant, there's value that can be gained from it.
And you see, this is part of that emotional part that I talk about. The moment you say, I don't want my children to go through what I went through, that may be okay, but your children need to go through what they need to go through. So
Yeah.
they may not go through what you went through, but you have to allow them go through their own, because this life is a journey and we are all going through. So they need to go through the things that make them the kind of people that can even preserve the thing that you are trying to build.
Yeah, or
Do you
that can
understand?
take it over
That can
and
even-
run with it and make it bigger.
That can even appreciate it. You know, that can even appreciate it. Some people will come out and say, this one, money me should, now because in father be wanting, my father be wanting. But sometimes the father may be a billionaire, right? But if the son of the daughter does not do their own going through, they won't be able to sustain it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
And when they eventually inherit it, they may squander it.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So I need them. Can I take some comments?
Yes, please.
Yeah, there's one from Obinna. Obinna says, "Thank you, Pastor Kingsley, and Pastor Mrs. Anietie Bature. We're glad to hear from you both. What can couples and individuals do to work against the odd and build a strong, lasting marriage? Work against the odd and build a strong, lasting marriage." In other words, he has identified that a strong, lasting marriage requires working against the odds, and it requires working against the norms, and it requires working against what everybody thinks is how marriage is supposed to be.
Well, yes, you can say
So,
that.
now he
But-
said that's number. So you wanted to say, but
Yeah, I wanted to say,
Okay.
so it's some of the norms, right? You would say are okay, but then some of the norms aren't.
So we'll discuss that.
Yes.
He says, how can we balance personal growth and independence with the commitment and sacrifices required in a successful marriage? There's something that my wife usually has said in her book, Husband Material. She said, make it a fair deal. Now, if you're asking the question, so I'm taking it from number 2.
Yeah.
If you're asking the question, how can we balance personal growth and independence with the commitment and sacrifices required in a successful marriage? If you made it a fair deal in terms of you improve yourself and the person that you're going to get married with is improving themselves, when you both get in, there is a continuous improvement process that is at work. For example, there was a time in my life, like when I said I was broke, I had a lot of things, right? I had a lot of time, but now we're in a different season in our lives where all of us, both of us, are looking for time. We're trying to see how to find time, how to save time. It's like time is not enough. But that time we had plenty time. But me, I had plenty time that time. But now I'm looking for time. Why? Because we are doing a number of things and we are improving each other. So I'm doing like 4 different things, and I check, what's my wife doing? She's doing one thing. It's not possible. Do you understand? That's the continuous improvement. I say, you're doing one thing, or pick something else that you can do because you have the capacity to do more. How do I know she has the capacity to do more? Because when we were singles, we're all doing different things. So there's personal improvement, and it is a culture you develop. Personal improvement does not fall upon you. It doesn't fall upon you. You develop it. It means that you intentionally put certain things in place, and it comes in these 5 areas we've spoken about. So if you talk about it mentally, if you are someone that is you are cerebral, right? Personal improvement will come by a habit of consistently reading books or attending programs, going to workshops, and you're not just jumping from one place to another. You are doing what? You are deliberately looking for areas in your life that you need to step up. Because if you step up, that's the only way you can step into certain circles that are responsible for bringing you to the next level of your life. See, somebody hear me clearly. There's a level of your life you will never enter if you don't enter into certain circles. And there are certain circles you will never get into if you don't upgrade yourself.
Yeah, I like the way you put that. Yes, I like the way you put that.
So
Because
you can talk on number one.
Okay.
What can couples and individuals do to
Can you put it up, please? Thank you.
what can
So,
couples and individuals
yes.
do to work against the odds and build a strong, lasting marriage?
Yeah, so the main thing is, what can you do to build a strong, lasting marriage? And there are many things. You can start by determining that you want a strong, lasting marriage.
Bam, one.
It's really important. Purpose. When you have that purpose, then you start to work towards achieving it. So now you check, what is it that I can do to achieve a strong, lasting marriage? So you're looking for strength and you're looking for longevity. You want it to last. Okay. It means this person has to be with me for the foreseeable future. Okay, so that means both of you have to be alive. So part of what you're going to start with is making sure you're staying healthy and you're staying strong, right? So eat well, balanced diet, basic, right? But people tend to ignore it. Don't walk yourself to the point where you collapse and that ends your life and cuts short the whole thing even before you have achieved your purpose. Then your relationship with one another, how do we build it? How do you make it last? Then you start thinking of, what is it that this person needs? There's so many things. Love language. What is it that I will do that will make my spouse feel loved and appreciated, and that will make them feel fulfilled in the marriage, so that they don't start saying, did I make the right choice? I'm not sure I can handle this anymore. I think I need to go on this I need to go this alone, the rest of my life and stuff like that. Pay attention to make sure that you are satisfying your spouse in the areas that they need you to give to them, the areas they need you to be there for them. Pay attention to make sure that you are meeting their need, right? And take care of yourself as well, because it's not just about I'm helping my spouse and I'm helping my spouse and making sure they are okay. How about you? Are you burning out? Are you well? Are you okay? Are you happy? And if you aren't, then you have to start looking into, what are the areas that are making me feel unhappy? What are the areas that are making me feel or dissatisfied, right? What are the areas where I need to make adjustments? And then you guys discuss, communicate, walk through it. Help one another. In this case, help each other, because it's just the two of you, right? So yes, these are just a few, but it starts with the purpose. We want to do this. They say it takes two to tango, right? It takes two to make marriage work, right? So both of you have to be committed to the cause. And with the help of God and with your resolve and determination and your willingness to continue to give, to continue to grow together, to continue to adjust, to continue to, do what it takes to increase in your love for each other, you will succeed. Yes. So the world will come with, life will throw you its stuff, right? It's challenges and so on. But when you're determined, yes, you say, okay, another one has come. Bottom line is, at the end, we will still be together. So how do we deal with this?
Yes. Yeah. Jimoski said, one pain that most people have growth in is breakfast. And then Omorenze Concord, she said breakfast pain. Yes, breakfast pain. This breakfast pain comes under the places where you need social growth.
Social growth, emotional.
Social growth, right?
Yeah.
Because breakfast has to do with, emotional has to do more with you as a person, as individual. Social has to do with how you relate with others, right? And so breakfast pain is there.
Go ahead.
So and if you look at it, when you're looking at social growth, right? When people serve you breakfast, there's something beautiful about the heart. The heart is an elastic machine. So after every breakfast, there's lunch. I'm sure you didn't get it. They didn't get it.
In other words, you will heal. Right?
It means that there's another meal to eat after breakfast. When you know when I did that to like one guy, the guy would just talk nonsense and then we just pose as if you didn't get it. You know. So, but my point is, when people get served breakfast, how many people actually sit down and think to say what went wrong here? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, you wrote in your book again, and that's husband material. Excuse me. You wrote in your book again, and in that place, there's this part that people need to think about. When you break up with someone, how many people actually sit down and have a conversation over the breakfast to say, what did I do wrong here? What did you do wrong here? Why couldn't we work? Why can't we work?
Yeah, because there's a lot of value to
to be had,
because sometimes,
especially both for you
yeah,
and the person and whoever is going to come into both of your lives. You can tell, oh, this thing I didn't do well, I shouldn't do it again. This thing, even if it's not with me, with somebody else, don't do this. Do you understand? How many people actually do that, Babi?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's a good thing to do because you learn. Someone can tell you, hey, this you did not do well. You are too this, or you didn't do that at all, or this other thing about you, this habit, and when people are saying goodbye like that, at this point they feel like, well, there's not much to lose. The relationship is ending anyway. So some people will actually give you the real, your real report card. Maybe you're too clingy, or you're too possessive, or you can't even give somebody breathing space, or every time I come to visit you, you're just dressed in one nasty way. You don't make any effort to be presentable. People will tell you stuff. So if you, and when you hear that feedback, you know, okay, if this was a deal breaker here, or if this was something so nasty that this person couldn't stand me anymore, I should try to work on it and make sure when the next relationship comes around, I am better and I'm able to present myself in a better way, a better version of yourself. Yes, so there's something to gain from having those discussions. But you see, unfortunately, sometimes when people are breaking up, they break up so disastrously.
That's what Timora is saying.
So catastrophically.
Timora say people don't wish their ex well. They want them to be way worse.
Oh my goodness.
So if you don't end up with me, your life should be
how do you
worse.
get there?
Your life should be terrible.
This is a question that I would like to ask. How do you get there? How do you allow yourselves to get to the point where, if you are leaving a relationship, you people are living with bad blood and hatred and ill will for the other person? How do you manage your relationships for it to get there? And this is where part of the emotional growth comes in, because if you are able to manage your emotions, if you're able to deal with the whole, what do I feel, how do I respond, and stuff like that, then you'll be able to respond to people in such a way that you don't create these effects, these outcomes, right? You don't create it. So it's really important that you learn. Someone says something to you, it's really nasty. How do you respond? Somebody did not show up for you when you really desired that they should. What's your response? Somebody did something that you were not happy with. What was your response? I mean, I watched a video clip or something where some lady went somewhere and she found her husband doing something that really upset her, and she just came home, went into the kitchen, picked up matches, picked up oil or something. I don't think she had fuel. And she just went to his car, poured the whole thing, and lit the match, and then dropped it. So the car was burning. Then she now went into the house to go and tell him, I have found out that you did so and so. Do you understand? So if she got there and found out that what she even heard was a lie, the car will still be burning.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah. So now imagine leaving that relationship. You will be living like good riddance to bad rubbish. But it got there because somebody did not know how to manage their emotions when they found out information that was not pleasant. So really, emotional maturity, growing, right, emotionally is really important. Think about it. It's not only academic things that you should read or things that have to do with career that you should read. You have to read those self-help books, those personal development books that help you to understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, it starts to tell you, okay, if you are this kind of personality, these are the extremes or these are the negative sides. And then you can say, okay,
I see.
and you start to catch yourself and start to, okay, let's polish that off. Let's cut that off, until you're the better and the better and eventually the best version of yourself. That's what we're all aiming for.
Interesting. Interesting conversation. John says, growing pain of adulthood varies. Financial, family, health, that family that I put there, health, social pain, then envy. Envy, covetousness, selfishness. I'm sure that's what we want to try. The things we deal with as adults, single or married, psychological trauma, or more. But this,
No,
but
physiological.
okay, physiological trauma. You know, these are things that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, like what you're sharing, is that a number of these things are actually the gene that you need in order to grow. They are not things to avoid. They are things to gym. And sometimes where people get burnt up, or where people get to the point where they say, I can't do this anymore, is when you go to the gym, you don't go inside and start carrying everything that they have in the gym. You go inside and you focus on what you came for in one area, deal with it, and you go. There's no law that says you must carry every equipment in the gym just because it's there. There's no law that says that you have to fight every battle just because it comes to you. There's a principle in growth management that we must understand, which is about picking your battles. Picking your battles. That's how you stay alive in order to fight the next one.
Yeah.
Because there are some battles where you don't need to fight. In fact, even the Bible tells you, how did they say this? We are not careful to answer the king in this matter. No. They said you will not need to fight
In this battle.
in this battle. So there are some battles where you don't need to fight. Don't leave it and work. It's not worth the time.
Yeah.
You understand? It's not worth.
Sometimes when you look at it, if I finish fighting, what will I gain?
Oh, we help.
When you see that there's no, if
It's just that
leave
to
it.
make me feel like
Just leave
yes,
it.
no, it's not
It's
it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So those things help you balance that. I'm speaking to something that John had written about. All of these things are coming at the same time. But part of the challenge, part of what you learned in maturity is to know which one to fight, which one to keep down.
Yeah, and then sometimes you may even have multiple that need your attention at some point, but you may not be able to address all of them at once.
Yes, at one.
So, but you need to be confident in your strategy to say, I'm going to take this one at a time. Let me fix this, number one, rejoice over having fixed it, and go with the ginger, with the good feeling of success in number one to tackle number two.
You see, what you just spoke now, it's something that we did without even knowing that there's a name for it. In leadership, organizational leadership, it's called RIP, Rapid Improvement Process. That is focusing on something, improving it rapidly. That's like ranking up in it. And by the time you improve in it rapidly, the template or the system you have used is easy to just implement it to the next thing that needs improvement.
Yeah.
So rapid improvement process.
It's just like someone trying to clean a house, the entire house at the same time. You pick a plate from the kitchen, wash one plate, keep it. Then you go to your room, arrange two shoes. Then go to the parlor and shift the chairs first. Then you now go to the kitchen and bring out a broom to go. Come on, what are you really doing? Why not start in one room or say, okay, where is the place that is most disorganized?
Yeah.
That I will see that if I fix this one, it is good. Go there and fix that one. By the time you finish, you say, yes, maybe tomorrow I'll come and do the next one.
And that's all part of growing up. I hope I hope some people are learning, and hope we're helping some people here. I can see Grace. Grace says, "I'm just here learning." Grace, learn, I beg. learn. It's free learning, because if you say you're going to come to my office to come and do this thing, it's not free, but you will learn. So choose your learning. Pastor, Pastor Luremi, he says marriage is for grown up. It's for grown-up chaps and not people still navigating growing pains and breakfast pains. Pastor, I'm hearing you loud. Pastor, you're loud. They're very loud. I hope you guys are hearing me. You say, I don't really understand this breakfast pain stuff. Pastor, it's young people. I thought they weaponize emotional damage.
Breakfast means breakup.
It means breakup.
So when somebody has served you breakfast, it means someone has broken up with you. Someone has come to tell you, I don't love you anymore. We've grown apart.
I can't do this anymore.
Yes, I'm leaving. So that's the end of the relationship, right? So that's the breakfast pains, the heartbreak that comes as a result of that, and so on. Yeah. It's part of it. Now, if you can save yourself a lot of breakfast pain by just screening some people before they come into your life, so that you don't even have to get into a relationship before you find out that there was something. Then you now need to break up.
True. Timora says, I also learned this growing up. One has to put themselves first, and it will be almost a selfish kind of life to others. You have to learn certain things. I hear Timothy when he says one has to put themselves first. I will even put that under the 5. I think we've touched the 5, right?
Mental, emotional, financial, social,
and what's the 5th one?
Let me see.
What's the 5th one? I think I'm social.
Spiritual.
Yes. Spiritual. Timora, what you're saying here is in flight school, in training school, they will tell you when you want to fly. In fact, if you want to go on any flight, right, they will tell you that if you in the case of turbulence or anything, if anybody wants to
the oxygen mask thing.
When the thing
help
drop,
yourself first before helping even a child that is near you.
Put the thing on your nose first before you put it on anybody. If you are carrying a child, put it for you first before you put on the child. So it will be silly for, they say oxygen mask drop, there's an emergency, and you are rushing to put it on somebody else when you are dying. Right. So it can be part of mental. It's just common sense. The common sense is fix yourself. Deal with yourself first. Do you understand? And that's what we always say. For people going into relationship, a number of people going into relationship, for example, that's why we have this breakfast. That's why we have this breakfast a lot. A number of people going into relationship have traumas in their life that they have not dealt with. They have issues in their upbringing that they have not dealt with. They have things that are underneath, unresolved pains, unresolved trauma, something that happened to them that was significant, that was significant in their lives, and they didn't deal with it. Instead, those things were pushed down. And they are carrying those baggages, and they are living life as normal. The thing about relationship, when people get into your space, is that relationship has a way of throwing up all that you are really made of and puts it on a scale. So when you say, I want to have a relationship with somebody, it's just that you have given them access, and they didn't know the things that were secret, or the things that you have given them access. They're just going to ruffle through everything. And when people begin to feel that their world is being ruffled a bit, they want to back away. I didn't sign up for this. Oh, but you did the moment you say I do. You understand? So in relationships, in marriage, and all of this relationship stuff we talk about, you actually are giving people access into your life. And if there are things that you've not resolved, it's going to show up. And sometimes it may mess up a pretty good relationship because you have a pretty bad experience in the past. So it's not that the relationship itself is bad. It's not that the person itself is not your kind of person. It's just that there are some things you have not dealt with. And I'm speaking about being selfish. You need to be selfish enough to deal with certain things in your life so that you can save certain people in your future. You understand?
Yeah.
So these are things. These are all part of the pains. But some of the pains in your life, you need to deal with them as a single person, so that you will not frustrate another good person that God brings your way because of something you didn't deal with personally. And I almost feel like I should say a prayer for someone that is watching this, that is going through. You may be saying, "Oh, this my marriage is difficult," but you may need to look back and see that there are certain things that you've not resolved. And because you didn't resolve those things, the guy is a good man. He may have a problem. Listen, I want us to stop this thing, especially in marriages. Don't label a good man with a bad problem. As in, don't call him a bad man because he has a bad problem. He's a good man, but he may have a bad problem. It's just like saying, "Oh, the Neil took the leg." Because Neil took the leg and the man is walking with a limp, you say, that man is dead. No, it's just the leg that it took, but the man is still alive. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So what I sense or what I feel is that there's someone watching this program. You are in a marriage, and it looks like, "Oh, your husband is a bad man." No, your husband may be a good man, because that's why you married him. You won't marry him if he was a bad man. You married him because he's a good man, but in the process of the marriage, you've discovered he has a bad problem. Can we isolate the problem and save the man? Save the man is not as if you're going to change man. Is that, no, can we isolate the problem and deal with the problem? See a counselor, see a coach, see a therapist, see someone that can deal with that problem that the man has, so that you can save your marriage. And it's vice versa. You also need to look at yourself. There are some things that you have. Sometimes on the side of men, they know the things, they know your issues, but they would rather avoid having the conversation so that the marriage is going in peace. But women always, most women have a way of just always trying to draw things out. Most men would try to avoid. But for both of you, and I don't know why I'm going down this alley, but for both of you, you need to look at the issue, isolate the problem, and preserve your marriage. I don't know how I got into that space.
Yeah, well, you got into it. And I think it was in order to do that, because it's valid. Sometimes people get drawn into attacking each other in a marriage instead of attacking the problem to solve it, so that you both can continue to have a strong and long-lasting marriage.
Yeah.
Okay, so our time for today is done.
Already?
And yes.
1 hour?
It has been an interesting discussion. I don't know if you want to read the last two comments.
Okay.
Just for us to have it out there before we close this.
Oluremi Agbede says, "Okay, so breakfast is a breakup."
Yes.
So
that is fast.
Oh, a breakup that is fast
as
as speed of light. As Grace Ideye said, I am learning here too. Deception is harmful to the mental state, especially when it comes from someone you trusted. That's basically why people get so hot. Yes, you will get hot, but yes, you can also heal.
Yes.
Let's not miss that part. You can also heal. I'm not taking away from the hurt, but you can also heal. And I think your healing begins the day you choose to heal, rather than to just continue to hurt.
And a good way to heal is just sit down and think of all the good that you experienced in that relationship. What was positive about it? Find out, sit down and remember it and take note of them. And then think about all the things that just didn't work, all the mistakes, all the errors, all the hurt, all the pain. Think about them and say, what did I learn from number 1, from number 2, from number 3? Then look at the lessons as good. Because sometimes we focus on the bad, and that's what leaves the pain, the hurts, the sores, the scars, everything. But when you look at the good, which is the lessons that you've learned from the bad experiences, you walk away feeling like it was good.
It was just a lesson on the way to mine.
So
we have to go. There's a comment
Michael
from
says,
Michael Ezinaya Chugbo. Michael, your name sounds like, are you new? Are you a first
We
time on
haven't
the show?
seen him here
Yes, his name
before,
sounds.
so if you're new,
If you're new, please
welcome. And
Please
thanks for
let us
joining
know if you're new. Michael says the truth is that most women have this entitlement mentality. Okay, most men are going through a lot, but they won't voice out. Walking away from a toxic relationship is better. Divorce, if necessary, instead of beating. Michael, a number of things you've said here is true, and my just putting on my counselor hat, I will take a few things. Toxic relationship, yes, walk away from a toxic relationship. Beating, no. Beating, no. No, because the truth about beating is that is that most people just feel like, oh, I have the reason you beat somebody is because you feel like I feel fight them, I feel beat them.
You got the power.
Because I said something in one show that no matter how angry you get, if your wife na mopo, you no go touch her. You will look for another way to express your anger. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If your wife is a mopo, that your beating will be humbled. Do you understand? So beating, no. Thank you. Divorce, if necessary. Most men are going through a lot. I agree with you. But the truth is, even women are going to see the present human experience is a lot. So let everyone learn to manage that's why I would say pick your battles. And something that Nigerians don't do, but a number of them are beginning to do, which is why we do this show, okay? We are certified counselors with hours of practical experience, right? With hours of practical consultation with people and resolving issues. Please, especially with Michael, with this your comment, because what you say is true. Please, men, women, see a counselor, see a consultant, just see someone instead of resorting to difficult actions, that have consequences.
Violence.
Yes, violence, or even suicide. Or even suicide, right? Because these are the things that that I have to go. But this is the truth.
Debbie
Please
says,
see someone.
Great show today.
Yeah.
Mr. Pastor Oluwemi says, thank you so much for the summarizing roundup comments. Yes, we must be hard when we deal with these issues. Yes, if the word maturity isn't indicated, then marriage is in turbulence already. Yes, yeah. And Timora says, great show. Thank you so much. Grace says, great show today also. Fantastic. So this is maturity. Okay. All right.
All right.
So thank you so much, everybody. Like we've said, remember to like.
Yes.
If you got value here, share. And if you would like to join us next time, subscribe so that whenever we come on,
we like you to join us next time. So just press the bell. Even if you don't like to join us, just press the bell. We will like you. We like you, yes.
All right, everyone. Good night. And like we always say, remember, common sense
is not so common. Bye. It's true now.
Thank you once again for joining us. We hope you got great value today. Our goal is to bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your life and relationships. Please do not forget to subscribe, share,